So when we talk about sets, we have three different ways we can write them. We can either just describe the set in words, and that would be something like the set of the days of the week. Okay, notice that meets my criteria for what is a set. Tells me what's in it. I know what things should be in there and what things shouldn't be. So the first thing I can do is describe it. The second way I can write down what a set is I can use what's called the roster method. Now, when you think about roster, you should think about a list or a group of people perhaps on a team. And the roster method works like that. It is just a list. So if I want the roster method for this set that's the days of the week, I'm going to list them out with a couple special things. I have to start my list with a brace, so one of these curly bracket things. Okay, that lets people know in mathematics I'm talking about a set. Okay, so here I go. I've got Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I better make sure I get everybody in here that I should. Looks like I also need Saturday. So notice in between each of my items or elements, I put a comma. Okay, you also need that so that people know Sunday is a different element than Monday, Monday's a different element than Tuesday. Finally, now that I have my full list, I put a brace at the end to let people know, hey, there's everything. Okay, so I've got the roster method. Just list the guys. Finally, my third way to describe a set is a little tricky, but let me just go for it here. The third way is called set builder notation. Okay, a little bout of dyslexia there. So set builder notation is something that's quite odd. It looks like this. Let me get it drawn out here and then we'll talk through it. I've got a brace, I've got this X. I'm going to draw this vertical line. That's a pipe on your keyboard. And then X is a day of the week. Okay, so, wow, that's quite the thing. How do I even say that? Well, here's how I say that. This is the set, okay, I know it's a set because it starts with a curly brace, of all x, okay, the set of all x. This line is pronounced such that and then I just read this part. X is a day of the week. And then I have my closed parenthesis to say, hey, or my closed brace to say, hey, that's the end of this description of this set. So that is pronounced the set of all x, such that x is a day of the week. Now the way that this works, if I want to figure out is something in there or not, say the color red, I say, hey, is red in here? Well, for red to be in there, red is a day of the week would have to be true. Now, I know that that's false, so red does not belong in there. However, if I want to know, is something like Monday in there, I put Monday in there for X. Monday is a day of the week. And that's true. So Monday does belong in this set. Okay, so there are my three ways of describing or showing what a set is. I can either describe it in words, the set of the days of the week. I can list them all using the roster method, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or I can use this set builder notation, the set of all x, such that x is a day of the week.